Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amy Hoppy. Hello to all of you joining us from home, virtually wherever you are in South Africa, all over the world. Welcome to those of you who are here at the Plant Powered Show at the CTICC. We have the amazing Mira coming up shortly. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us in person at the show, but she will be. You'll see her head on the screen just above me. And of course, if you're tuning in online, also on our online platform, she's going to be making a beautiful brown rice porridge with tofu, tempeh, and some winter veggies. So everyone enjoy Mira's performance, and she'll be online to answer any questions that you might have if you want to add them to the chat on the virtual platform. Thank you and enjoy.
I'm Mira. Welcome to my garden. I'm so excited to be cooking for the first plant-powered show. I'm a plant-based advocate, marketing consultant, entrepreneur, and creative cook, and I'm passionate about conscious living, sustainability, and holistic healing. I love recreating my favorite meals that heal instead of hurt, and I can't wait to show you what I'm cooking today. I hope to inspire people to cook creatively, measure with their soul, and eat more plants. Let's cook. Today we are cooking with Taboo Foods. They're one of my favorite organic plant-based brands in South Africa. Taboo Foods specializes in high-quality, whole food plant-based, organic and macrobiotic imported Japanese products. That's a mouthful. Let's chat about what that means. Macrobiotics is centered around harmony and balance within your life and, most importantly, your diet. This is done by choosing locally grown organic and seasonal produce. I can't wait to cook this with you all today. We are making a delicious, nourishing, and comforting savory brown rice porridge. We're going to top it with some seasonal winter veggies and some delicious paneer and tempeh. So this is vegan paneer, which is made in a similar style to tofu. And I really love working with this specific product because it's really sturdy. So it's quite a nice, firm tofu. It's like an extra firm tofu. It would also work well with an extra firm tofu, and it marinates and soaks up flavors so well. So we're going to char grill that and serve crispy tofu on top of our porridge, which is going to be so delicious. And I'm also going to do the same with the tempeh. Tempeh and tofu are two really great products. I'm going to chat a little bit more about them later on, and they're so easy to make. I think often tofu is really well known and tempeh not so much. So I wanted to cook both of them today to show you how quick and easy it is to make and super nutritious. And then we're going to round that off with some delicious winter veggies as well. So it's a beautiful, balanced, nourishing bowl, especially for the winter time. One of the ways that I love adding extra nutrients and flavor is by cooking things in broth. So we're actually going to cook the short grain brown rice in a beautiful, hearty, nourishing and nutritious broth. This is also such a great waste-free hack because you can use whatever veggies you have left over in your fridge. I'm going to be using some carrots, some celery, some onions, some turnips, some radishes, and I'm also going to add in some garlic and ginger for extra flavor. And then two really great flavor packed options for this is to use kombu, which is also from Taboo Foods. It's a type of seaweed. And the other thing I'm going to add in there is some tamari for extra minerals and flavor, as well as some delicious dried shiitake mushrooms, which will go into the broth as well. The porridge can also be cooked with filtered water, but broth just adds a really great element and depth of flavor as well as extra nutrition. And a sneaky little cheat option from Taboo is this divine umami broth. So you can also use these sachets in the water and cook your brown rice porridge in those as well. So we're going to start with the short grain brown rice, and I have soaked this overnight. I like to soak all of my grains and beans overnight before cooking them for two reasons. One is because it aids digestion and makes it more easily digestible once they are cooked, and also it shortens the cooking time, which is really great, especially for us busybodies. So this has already been soaking. I'm going to go and take it to my sink quickly for a rinse. Okay, our rice is rinsed off. We are going to get my delicious stock that we've made, the yummy broth from the dried shiitake mushrooms, the veggies. We put some tamari and the kombu seaweed from Taboo in there as well, as some ginger and some garlic, and cook the rice in that broth. So here is our delicious broth. I am going to strain it off straight into the pan. So you can absolutely eat these leftover veggies. They are super yum. You can also even mush them all up and make seed crackers with them as well. That is a very full pot. Okay, so the rice is going to go straight in here. We're going to give it a quick stir. So we're going to give this a quick little stir, and then the great thing about this is that it literally just cooks all by itself for the next hour or so. Yeah, it's so yummy. 1 cup of brown rice and 9 cups of liquid. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, this is so worth making. So we're going to pop the lid on there and leave this baby to cook for about an hour. And let's make our toppings. So these are all the good things over here. We're going to do a delicious marinade for the tempeh and the paneer, which is similar to tofu. It's a vegan paneer that's also made in the same style as tofu. So these are all of our marinade ingredients. So we're going to start with some sesame oil and Taboo's tamari. It's a really great quality tamari. Can also use soy sauce. Tamari is basically the same as soy sauce, but it's a wheat-free, gluten-free option. And then we are going in with some brown rice vinegar that's also from Taboo. And a little bit of liquid sweetener. You can use liquid sweetener of your choice. Agave syrup would work well. I'm using a beautiful pure maple syrup. And some garlic, some ginger, and then this is optional, a little bit of chili flakes just for a little bite. You could use fresh as well. This is just some dried chili flakes. And then my favorite sneaky optional ingredient to add to this marinade, but I think it's so delicious. So this is actually the brine from Taboo's umeboshi, which is basically a pickled Japanese plum, and it is so good. If you're a fan of fermented sour foods, you're going to absolutely love this. I'll tell you a little bit about the benefits shortly. So we're going to chuck that in. The chef's jacket is so great. It's got these like little cool pockets, so I've got my whisk sneaked in there, and we're just going to whisk the marinade up. You really want to give this a good whisk because I find the flavors sometimes really need to blend together nicely and mix together. So this neat little whisk is such a great thing. You could also use a fork if you don't have a whisk. This is one of my favorite marinades. It's so delicious. You can use this on so many things. You can even do a lovely sauce by adding like a nut butter in here and putting it over like some Asian noodles would work really well as well. Okay, we're going to set this aside and then get some of the tempeh and paneer, which we're going to use the marinade to marinate in. So this is Taboo's tempeh and their paneer, which is very similar to tofu. It's a vegan paneer. We are going to cut some triangles to marinade. So you could also do strips as well. I like doing them in triangles. I just think that they get nice and crunchy and crispy on those edges, which I really love. Okay, let's bring our marinade back. Welcome to Country Pumpkin Land. We've got a little background music entertainment happening. So what's great about this is you can actually keep this in your fridge overnight and just let them marinate and soak up all of that wonderful flavor. Or you can let it marinate for like 15 to 20 minutes if you're in a rush, but it can be kept in the fridge like this, which is so great. So we're going to pop those in, let it sit for about 10-15 minutes, and then we are going to char grill them beautifully. And I'm going to do the exact same with our tofu. I'm also going to slice them in triangles. You could do blocks or strips. always cut the triangles too big and everyone says cut them smaller, so I'm going to listen and cut them smaller today. So every like 10 minutes I just like to give it a little turn, because then those flavors are going to soak up so beautifully, and then we can get the tofu in here as well. It smells delicious, this marinade. Can't wait to start cooking it. Okay, so we're going to marinate the tofu in the exact same mixture. I just wanted to show how versatile and also easy tempeh is. I think a lot of people are nervous to cook tempeh, and what's great about Taboo's tempeh is that you don't have to pre-steam it, so you can just put it straight into the marinade, you defrost it and it goes straight in. So I'm going to let these sit for a little while and have a little marinade party over here. Let's have a look at our rice, and then we're going to get the char grill pan and cook the tempeh and tofu babies up. So the rice is steaming away beautifully. You don't actually want to do what I did. If you're cooking this away like on a stove at home, don't lift the lid, leave the lid on to let it boil. I just wanted you to see what it looked like in there. So the rice has been cooking for about an hour, just over an hour, and you actually want to keep the lid on. So don't open the lid, let the rice cool down, because as it cools down, it gets creamy and thick, and that's really how you want your porridge. So resist opening it, which is my most challenging thing to not do. Take a sneak peek. Okay, so we're going to put the grill pan on so that that can get nice and hot for the tempeh and the paneer that we're using. You can do this in a frying pan. It can also be roasted in the oven. It can be air fried. It can be baked. There's so many options. I just love having those beautiful char grill lines on mine. So I'm just going to use a little bit of sesame oil on the grid just so that it doesn't stick. There is some oil in the marinade, so you really don't actually need to do this. If you're doing it in like a non-stick pan at home, you won't need any oil. I'm just giving it a quick little brush. So the vegan paneer has been marinating beautifully, as well as the tempeh. Just giving it a little mix. We are going to put that onto the grill. We're just letting our grill get a little bit hot, which will take a few minutes, and then we are going to cook those babies up. So this is umeboshi plum, which is a salted and preserved Japanese plum. It's also one of Taboo's products and one of my personal favorites, as it's very hard to find in South Africa. It's a little bit of a delicacy for someone like me. I remember eating umeboshi when I was a kid. My mom used to make it on millies, so we would have like steamed millies, and then we would brush umeboshi plum onto the millies as though it was like butter. It was so good. So I've actually used some of the umeboshi brine, the liquid, in the tempeh and paneer marinade, just to add that little bit of like umami saltiness, which is so delicious. Umeboshi is also a great food because it's one of the king of alkaline foods. It also aids digestion and balances acidity, and it strengthens the intestine. So it's a really great nutritious food to have, and it's super yummy too. So we are going to, this marinade has soaked in so beautifully. We are going to pop these on the grill. Sizzle, sizzle. I wish you could smell this deliciousness. It is so good. We're going to let them cook for a little bit on each side, and then we'll flip them over. Tempeh is similar to tofu in that it's also made from soybeans, although tempeh can also be made from other beans, legumes, or seeds as well. In fact, Taboo make a lovely black bean tempeh. the process of how you make tempeh and how you make tofu is where the difference really comes in. So tempeh is made with the whole bean, so the whole soybean or black bean is what gets fermented, whereas tofu is actually made more in the style of a cheese. So it's made from soya milk that has been curdled. It's really interesting if you ever get the chance to be able to see the process of making tempeh or tofu on a large scale in the factory behind the scenes. It's lots of fun. You can also make tempeh or tofu at home. It is slightly easier to make tofu just because the fermentation process of tempeh can actually be quite smelly because you're fermenting beans. So it's nice to have that out of your kitchen and not in your house. I really love Taboo Foods. They're one of my favorite products, and it's really because of the commitment and dedication from the family behind the brand to high quality products that are organic. Everything that they bring in from Japan, they know their suppliers, they know their source, they've seen where it's grown, and they really have that background story. So it's a very special brand to support, and their tempeh and their tofu is made locally in South Africa, which is absolutely amazing. It comes from the Western Cape, and I've been lucky enough to see the behind the scenes process, so I've seen exactly what goes into it, and they really pride themselves to being committed to creating a product that is not just good for you, but also good for the environment too. Let's have a look at how these babies are doing. They are smelling so good. Oh yeah, that's what you want to see. So this is why I'm doing a char grill pan situation and not a pan fry, because I just love those lines. They're so gorgeous. My garden is smelling delicious. I'm pretty sure that the neighbors are wondering what I'm cooking, even though being a plant-based, passionate foodie and chef and a vegan in country pumpkin land is quite interesting, because it's a weekend time. Usually you are smelling all those braai smells, and we've got this delicious tofu happening here. I don't even think they would know the difference. I'm sure they are peering over my fence wondering what we are making.
Hi, how you, Mira? What you cooking?
You have to taste this, it's so good.
It smells delicious.
Tempeh is a traditional Indonesian food, and it's made by fermenting the beans with a culture in a very controlled fermentation process. Tempeh is high in protein and packed with vitamins and minerals, including iron, magnesium, and calcium. It can improve insulin resistance, promotes bone health, and it's also really great to lower inflammation. It's a wonderful plant protein choice, and because it's fermented, it's great for gut health too. It's one of my favorites, and it's great for gut health too. It's also why I'm cooking it today with both the tofu and the tempeh, so that you can see how easy it is to make. These guys are ready to come off, so we're gonna pop those over here, and then we're going to cook up some tempeh, grill them nice and crispy. They're going to be the topping on our beautiful brown rice porridge bowl. The rice is still steaming just in that heat because the lid is on it, so it's getting nice and thick and also cooling down at the same time, which is great. So let's get the tempeh on here. You can see from the marinade how much the tempeh has really soaked that marinade up. So just going to give it a little turn. We're going to pop these guys on here. I think the thing about tempeh is that you really have to know how to cook it, because if you have tempeh not cooked nicely, it's really horrible. So you want to know how to cook tempeh well, and I think a lot of people taste tempeh for the first time and it's not cooked nicely and they go, oh, it's horrible. But I can tell you now, this marinade is sensational, and this tempeh is going to be so delicious. It will convert the lovers and haters of tempeh. Let's let them cook for a bit. One of the benefits of cooking from my garden today is that I have all of these incredible wild greens to cook with. So we have some spinach, we have some nasturtiums even in here, some stinging nettle, we have some mustard greens, some kale. There's a mixture from the garden which is super exciting, and we're gonna chop those up and serve that on top, as well as some beautiful broccolini as well. And we are also going to add my favorite bok choy. Oh, these beautiful little baby bok choys over here. You can use whatever veggies you want on this dish. I think that's what's so great, is it's really versatile. So once you have your porridge, you can top it with your favorite toppings. It's such a great porridge to have because it's really versatile in terms of enjoying it for breakfast, lunch, or supper. Super nourishing, super nutritious. Let's get started with those toppings. Okay, so the one thing you want to be careful about is there are some stinging nettles in here, which is why I've rolled the leaves so that I don't get stung by those nettles. You can also use gloves. I'm just being a brave child today, hoping not to get stung. Because we are cooking our tempeh, let's have a look and see that it's not burning. So we're going to do a little flip. Oh, it looks amazing. That's just going to cook for a few more minutes on that side, and then we'll be ready to go. So I'm going to put these greens in here, and careful not to sting myself on those nettles so that we cook those up just now. All of these greens are wild greens from the garden, and they are super nutritious. One of my favorite is nettle. I have nettle tea like 3 or 4 times a week. It's so good for a multitude of chronic illnesses and things like diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol levels. I specifically take it for inflammation. It's really great as an anti-inflammatory. It's also really great for pain, joint pain, menstrual pain. It's one of those super nutritious herbs that can be drunk as a tea, and is often used in dried form as a tea, but it's so great today because we're eating it in fresh form, which I really love, having it freshly cooked. It's a green, so it can be eaten like spinach or kale. You can saute it. You can add it last minute into like floaty Asian soups. It's super delicious. I've never actually tried it raw. I think it's better to cook it. So if you cook the nettle, it actually takes the sting away. So that's why I love having it, even if it's just lightly steamed or blanched, then it doesn't have that like sting in it anymore, so it won't hurt your fingers, and most importantly your tongue. So it's great to add into stir fries. It's really delicious if you do it with like some garlic and sesame oil, which is what we're going to do today with our greens. And these are mixed greens, so we're just going to have them all nice and yummy. Okay, these guys are finished and they are smelling amazing. We are going to cook the greens up next and those winter veggies, and then we're going to top and load our bowls, and it's time to chow. Look at that. Yum yum. So these are my favorite Asian veggies, and I'm just going to cut them straight in half because they're so beautiful inside, and we're going to put those on to cook. Okay, and then we've got some broccolini over here, so I'm going to also just give those a little cut through so that the stems aren't as thick. Okay, I have a little bit of sesame oil here, which I'm going to put on the griddle pan. And we are going to go in, I'm going to do our broccoli first because they will take the longest out of all of them. So get our broccoli on there. And our bok choy. I changed my mind. I was going to do the broccolini and the bok choy together in the pan, but I'm actually going to do them one at a time. It just gives the veggies more space to cook, and then I will do them separately. We're cooking live from my garden, so we're going to have some neighbor chit-chat from the local four-legged family members and neighbors across the road. So you can spice your veggies with whatever you want. I'm keeping mine quite classic and plain and simple. I'm just going to do some pink Himalayan salt, some black pepper, and a little bit of dried herbs. I'm using thyme and rosemary, but you can use whatever you have at home. Can't seem to get the lid back on. Third time's a charm. I'm going to add a little bit extra sesame oil onto these guys, just because I can feel and hear that they're drying out just a tad, little bit. Just a little bit, you don't need a lot. And let's give them a little mix. That's the sound we want to hear, yes. Okay, a few more minutes and they will be ready and we can switch over to the bok choy. These guys are ready, so we are going to take them off. Smells delicious. Okay, let's get our bok choys. Don't leave anyone behind. Nobody gets left behind. Take them all. Let's put these babies on. You want them to kind of all be flat so that we're not overlapping too much. Social distanced bok choy. There we go. And a little bit of sesame oil. And just let them cook. Okay, let's get these guys off. So scrumptious. Especially for a plant-powered show, we're having a super plant-powered porridge bowl. Time for the greens. So our wild greens are going to go in here. They cook quite quickly, same time as sort of spinach. So I'm going to just throw them straight on. So excited for these. Such a fan of wild greens. It looks like a lot, but they cook down to nothing. So we'll just let them cook and then we'll do another batch. Got stinging nettles in here. We've got mustard greens. We've got wild kale. Even got a little bit of, I think it's fennel or dill. Actually not sure. It's fennel. We have some fresh fennel in there, and lots of great stinging nettles. Even have some nasturtium leaves in there too. And let's see what else. Mustard greens. All the wild, good, delicious edible weeds. Okay, I'm going to let that do its thing. They really do cook down to nothing, these greens. We started with a whole big bowl. I'm going to put a little bit of pink Himalayan salt on there and some pepper. And that is it. We're just going to let them cook a little bit longer. They're just basically steaming, really. And they're nearly ready to go. Okay, these greens are done, so we're going to take them off and we'll do another batch, and then we are ready to boil this beautiful, comforting winter bowl of goodness. Our second batch of wild garden greens is ready, so we're going to take these guys off, and then I'm going to show you what that beautiful rice porridge is looking like. Shoo, it's hot up in this grill. Okay, Nobody gets left behind. Let's get all of those guys in. Okay, let's have a look at the rice. Let's go get it. Okay, the rice is totally cooled down, so I just left the lid on it, and it's steamed, it's thickened up. I'm hoping, I haven't taken a sneak peek yet, so let's hope that this works. It's completely cool, so I can like touch it. There's no steam, it's totally cooled down. Let's have a look at what it looks like. Oh yeah. So it is like a beautiful, thick and creamy porridge, and that's exactly what I wanted. Let's load this baby up. So here are our delicious tempeh and paneer, vegan paneer triangles. So we are going to load them up like this. So if I was making this, I would choose one protein. So I would have tempeh or the paneer or tofu. So you don't actually have to do both. I just wanted to show you the versatility of it today. But we are having the best of both worlds on this. Okay, and all of our delicious veggies is going in here as well. It's going to be a loaded bowl of goodness. Let's get those in there. Some of that broccolini. Smells so yummy. And our beautiful bok choys. She looks beautiful. I'm gonna pop some fresh herbies on here. So we have some chopped coriander. And some spring onions. And then I know we're plant powered and we're going super green for this, but just to add a little bit of color. So we've done a quick radish pickle. This is such an easy pickle to make. It's super quick. It's great to have in your fridge to add to Buddha bowls, soups, stir fries, wraps, sandwiches, and of course our beautiful savory porridge. We have used the brown rice vinegar from Taboo with a little bit of pink Himalayan salt and just let it do its own thing. So it's marinated in those juices. Look at that beautiful pink color. And we are going to pop some of those straight onto our bowl for a little bit of color. And then this is totally optional, but I'm just going to add a little bit of spice to mine with some dried chili flakes. You could also use fresh chili. I'm not brave enough for fresh chili. So here is the final dish of our savory short grain organic brown rice savory porridge with crispy tofu and tempeh steaks and winter veggies. Most importantly, let's have a taste test. So I've got a spoon and a fork because I want to get all up into this and try every little bit. So I've got some porridge, let's get a little bit of radish on there, some of the broccolini. Okay, I think we have everything on here. Let's have a little taste. That's the best porridge I've ever had. Let me give you a piece.
Can I grab it in my hands?
Yeah, of course. Enjoy.
That is delicious. Yummy.
I hope you enjoyed watching this delicious dish and that you make it at home for your friends and your family, and more importantly for yourself. I hope that it nourishes you this winter and inspires you to cook creatively, measure with your soul, and most importantly, to eat more plants.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Amy. Just here to say thank you so much for joining us at the incredible Plant Powered Show here at the Checkers Plant Kitchen, powered by Simple Truth. Honestly, Simple Truth products are simply the best. I use them at home as well. And just another big shout out to all the incredible chefs that we have had here. Mira, you're amazing. It was such a great way to end off our sessions here in the Plant Kitchen with you today, even though it was a virtual join-in. For those of you who want to still ask Mira some questions, just pop online and get into the chat box and ask away. She'll be answering them. But thank you so much, everyone. We'll be seeing you soon, and hopefully we'll be having another Plant Power show soon. Keep in touch.